Act 2, Scene 1. When the scene opens, you see the upperclassmen and women talking with each other, obviously buzzing about the latest gossip. Dorian is walking home. It is 11 o'clock in the evening and he is wrapped in heavy furs. At the corner of Grosvenor Square in South Broadway Street, a man passes him in the mist, walking very fast with the collar of his ulster turned up. He has a bag in his hand. Dorian recognizes him. It is Basil Hallward. Dorian makes no sign of recognition and goes on quickly in the direction of his own house. Basil sees him. In a few minutes, his hand is on his arm.
Dorian, what an extraordinary piece of luck. I've been waiting for you in your library ever since 9 o'clock. I'm off to Paris by the midnight train and I particularly wanted to see you before I left.
But I suppose you will be back soon.
No, I'm going to be out of England for 6 months. But I had to come here because I have something to say to you.
I shall be charmed, but won't you miss your train?
Train doesn't go till 12:15.
Then let's talk. And mind you don't talk about anything serious. Nothing is serious nowadays. At least nothing should be. What is it all about? I hope it's not about myself. I'm tired of myself tonight. I should like to be somebody else.
It is about you. I think it right that you should know that the most dreadful things are being said against you in London.
I don't wish to know anything about them. I love scandals about other people. Scandals about myself don't interest me. They haven't the charm of novelty.
Why is your friendship so fatal to young men? Why does a man like the Duke of Berwick leave a room when you enter it? There was Sir Henry Ashton, who had to leave England with a tarnished name. What about James Bowen and his dreadful end, and Lord Kent's son and his career?
Stop, Basil! You asked me why Berwick leaves the room when you enter it. It's because I know everything about his life, not because he knows anything about mine. You asked me about Henry Ashton. Did I teach him his vices and his debauchery? If Kent's silly son takes his wife from the streets, what is that to me? If James Bowen writes his friend's name across the bill, am I his keeper? What sort of lives do these people who pose as moral lead themselves? My dear fellow, you forget that we're in the native land of the hypocrite.
Dorian, that is not the question. English is bad enough, I know, but in English society is all wrong. That is the reason why I want you to be fine. And you have not been fine. One has a right to judge a man by the effect he has over his friends. Yours seem to lose all sense of honor, of goodness, and of purity. You have filled them with a madness of pleasure. They have gone down into the depths. You have led them there. Yes, you led them there, and yet you can smile as you are smiling now. And there is worse behind. There are stories that you've been creeping at dawn out of dreadful houses and slinking in the skies into the foulest dens in London. Are they true? Can they be true? When I first heard them, I laughed. I hear them now, and they make me shudder. You don't know what's said about you.
I don't need you preaching at me, Basil. You don't know me as well as you think you do.
Know you? I wonder, do I know you? Before I could answer that, I should have to see your soul.
To see my soul?
Yes, to see your soul. But only God can do that.
You shall see it for yourself tonight. Come, it is your own handiwork. Why shouldn't you look at it? You can tell the world about it afterwards if you choose. Nobody will believe you. If they did believe you, they would like me, all for the better of it. You have chattered enough about corruption. Now you shall look face to face.
Dorian starts to walk upstairs, and Basil follows behind.
I don't understand, Dorian.
When they reach the top landing, Dorian sets the lamp down on the floor, takes out the key, and turns it in the lock.
You insist on knowing, Basil?
Yes.
You would have more to do with my life than you think.
Taking up the lamp, he opens the door and goes in.
Shut the door behind you.
He places the lamp on the table. Basil glances around him with a puzzled expression. The room looks as if it has not been lived in for years. A faded Flemish tapestry, a curtained picture, an old Italian façon, and an almost empty bookcase and a chair on the table. As Dorian Gray is lighting a half-burnt candle that is standing on a mantelshelf, he sees that the whole place is covered with dust and that the carpet is in holes.
So you think that is the only God who sees soul? Draw the curtain back and you will see mine.
You're mad, Dorian.
You won't? Then I must do it myself.
He tears the curtains from its rod and flings it on the ground. An exclamation of horror breaks from Basil's lips as he sees the hideous face on the canvas grinning at him. Dorian is leaning against the mantelshelf, watching him with a strange expression. He takes the flower out of his coat, smells it, and pretends to do so.
What does this mean? No, this thing is impossible. You told me you destroyed it.
I was wrong. It has destroyed me.
Don't believe it's my picture.
Can't you see your ideal in it?
My ideal, as you call it.
As you call it.
There was nothing evil in it, nothing shameful. You were to me such an ideal as I shall never meet again. This is the face of a satyr.
It is the face of my soul.
It is the eyes of a devil.
Each of us has heaven and hell in him, Basil.
He holds the light up again and the canvas and examines it. His hand shakes and the candle falls from its socket on the floor and lays there sputtering. He places his foot on it and puts it out. Then he flings himself into the rickety chair that is standing by the table and buries his face in his hands.
I worship you too much. I'm punished for it. You worship yourself too much. We are both punished.
Dorian Gray turns slowly around and looks at him with tear-dimmed eyes.
It is too late, Basil.
It's never too late, Dorian. Let's kneel down and pray.
Dorian Gray glances at the picture and suddenly an uncomfortable feeling of hatred for Basil comes over him. He glances wildly around. A knife glimmers on the top of the painted chest that faces him. He moves slowly towards it, passing Basil as he does so. As soon as he gets it behind him, he seizes it and turns around. Basil stirs in the chair as if he's going to rise.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Forgive us our sins, forgive all our pride, please wash away all our evil.
He takes the knife into the great vein that is behind the door, crushing the man's head down on the table and stabbing again and again. There's a stifled groan and the horrible sound of someone choking with blood. 3 times the outstretched arms shoot up convulsively, waving grotesquely, still fingers in the air. He stabs him twice more, but the man does not move. He waits for a moment, still pressing the head down. Then he throws the knife on the table and listens. He hears nothing. He opens the door and goes out onto the landing. No one is about. For a few seconds he starts bending over the bolster and peers down into the darkness. Then he takes out the key, locks the door behind him, and creeps quietly downstairs. When he reaches the library, he sees the bag and coat in the corner. He unlocks the secret press that is in his waistcoat, a press in which he kept his own curious disguises, and puts them into it. Then he pulls out his watch. It was 20 minutes to 2.
My head, if I cannot be seen, forgiven for my sins, I can at least forget them instead. This is the very secret. I see now, this is what I must do. There are the den where old sins have replaced by the madness sins that are new. No matter what heinous crime has been committed, all is forgiven when you enter those doors. Perfect absolution for every rich man, drunken or poor. There is no atonement for me. I'll wash the blood from my hands and from my memory. I'll forget it all, I will stop it out, crushing as one does with an adversary. I'll erase it all, for I can't face the beast inside of me. Of all the things I have done in my life, nothing has ever filled me with such dread. No priest or God could ever forgive me that an innocent blood has been shed. Is this the dream, I wonder? Am I a real true Jekyll and Hyde? I'd like to deny it with a portrait sensitivity, showing each sin with pride. As it stands, there is no salvation for me. It seems that hell is where my soul is destined to be. If that be the case, let the portrait be God's confirmation of my soul's depravity. I'm determined to never remember the beast inside of me. I'll know my feelings all of each day, as if it were to be my last, engrossing myself in all earthly pleasures, so that I will not have to remember a single detail from my past. Since forgiveness is not meant for me, I'll forgive myself and cure my soul's melodies. I'm at the point of no return, I am caught in a web of destiny. The opium den is my only salvation from the beast inside of me. My soul be cured from the beast inside of me.
Scene 3. A small shabby house. In one of the top windows stands a lamp. It is an opium den. Dorian stops and gives a peculiar sigh. As Dorian enters, the heavy odor of opium meets him. He heaves a deep breath and his nostrils quivered with pleasure, but no sooner as he was enjoying this, the two hag women sidled up to Dorian, thinking he was an easy going. Greedy fingers. Her companion watches her enviously. Dorian walks to the door. As he draws a quick aside, the hideous laugh breaks from the pink lips of the woman who had taken his money.
There goes the devil's bargain!
Don't call me that.
Prince Charming's what you like to be called, ain't it?
The drowsy Sarah reaches to his feet as she speaks and looks wildly around. The sound of the shutting of the hall door falls on his ear. He rushes out as if in pursuit. Dorian Gray hurries along the grave with a drizzling rain. Suddenly he feels himself suddenly seized from behind. Before he has time to defend himself, he is thrust back against the wall with a brutal hand around his throat. He struggles madly for life, and by terrible effort wrenched and tightening fingers away. In a second he hears the click of a revolver and sees the gleam of a polished barrel pointing straight at his head, and the dusky form of a short, thick-set man facing him.
What do you want?
Keep quiet. If you stir, I'll shoot you.
You are mad. What have I done to you?
You wrecked the life of Sybil Vane, and Sybil Vane was my sister. She killed herself, I know it. Her death was at your door. I swore I'd kill you in return. For years I have sought you. I had no human trace, had given you up as dead. But the pet name she called you, I heard it tonight by chance. Make your peace with God, for tonight you are going to die. I never knew her, I never heard of her. You are right, did not believe, and then I confessed her. She was like a dream thing. You are going to die, now you will die. Vengeance is mine, thank you.
Dorian's arms fall to his side, paralyzed with terror.
How long ago since your sister died?
18 years. Why do you ask me? What do years matter?
18 years. Set me under a lamp and look at my face.
James Vane hesitates for a moment, not understanding what is meant. Then he seizes Dorian Gray and drags him from the archway. When he sees that Dorian is too young, he loosens his hold and reels back.
My God, and I would have murdered you.
Dorian Gray draws a long breath.
You have been on the brink of committing a terrible crime, my man. Let this be a warning to you, not to take vengeance on your own hands.
Forgive me, sir, I was deceived. The chance word I heard in the damn den set me on the wrong track.
You had better go home and put that pistol away, or you may get into trouble.
He turns on his heel and goes slowly down the street. James Vane stands on the pavement in horror. He's struggling from head to foot. After a little while, he gives a hand on his arms and looks around with a start. It was one of the women who had been drinking at the bar.
Why didn't you kill him? You should have killed him. He has lots of money and he's as bad as they come.
It's not the man I'm looking for. I want no man's money. I want a man's life. The man whose life I must want is nearly 40 now. This one's little more than a boy. Thank God I have not got this blood on my hands.
It's little more than a boy. It's nigh on 18 years since Prince Charming made me what I am.
Lie!
Before God, I'm telling the truth.
Before God.
Strike me dumb if it ain't so. He is the worst one that comes here. They say he sold himself to the devil for a pretty face. It's nigh on 18 years since I met him. He hasn't changed much since then. I have vowed.
You swear this?
I swear it. But don't give me away to him. some money for my night's lodging.
He breaks from her and rushes to the corner of the street, but Dorian Gray has disappeared. When he looks back, the woman has vanished also.
He slips right through my finger, but now he feels death always linger at each corner. That is just right where I will be. Not that I fly, we know his face, there will not be any place where he can run and hide from my love's destiny. I will hunt you down like the dog that you are. I won't rest until your corpse is wrapped around. Just who will be mine at last? Prince Charming, you're about to die.
James enters, and as he does, Dorian comes out of the shadows. As he was listening, he sings.
Everywhere I turn, I see his face glaring at me. He's hiding out my choice to escape from his brutality. I feel like my hands on the river are slowly closing in. Is it time for me to leave for all my reasons? Death is calm in the shape of a vengeful brother. What do I do? Hunted, capture, followed, murder. These are the fears that dominate the shadow corner. And every kind of torture, all of these fears are driving me crazy. I'm not sure what's real anymore. Is it all fancy or something that he has designed? Is he really there? Or is he trying to make me a prisoner of my mind? Just now when I was looking down the barrel from the sailor's gun, I was flooded by the memories of every evil that I've done. They were pointing all their icy fingers endlessly, crying out for vengeance as their one and only. Now the sailor has come to bring me to hell where I belong. What do I do? Condemnation and eternal damnation. These are the fears that dominate me. Is it illusion or imagination? Is it a question of what I should believe? I don't know what's wrong or right. Is there really that close behind? Whatever the answer may be, I refuse to become a prisoner of my mind. I don't believe it. I can't consider it. Anything like this could happen to me. It's not a mystery. There's no conspiracy. I won't give credence to these fantasies. Who's that over there? And there, and there, and there. It's snared, tracked down and murdered. These are the fears that dominate me. Shadowed, cornered, arrested, slaughtered. These I fear my fate is destined to be. Life has become a dreadful burden to bear. I must leave all that I left behind. If I don't, it'll only find me, or I'll become a prisoner of my mind. I won't become a prisoner of my mind. I won't become a prisoner of my mind.
Dorian is ended up back in his house, all distraught.
Sir,
Yes.
I'm sorry, sir. There was a hunting accident on your property.
Who is he?
We don't know who he is, sir.
What do you mean? Wasn't he one of our servants?
No, sir. Never saw him before. Seems like a sailor, sir.
A sailor? Did you say a sailor?
Yes, sir. He looks as if he had been a sort of sailor. Tattooed on both arms, that kind of thing.
Was there anything found on him? Anything that would tell his name?
Some money, sir. Not much. And a six-shooter. There was no name of any kind except the name of a woman named Sybil. tattooed across one of his forearms.
Dorian turns from the ballet and a cry of joy broke from his lips. He knows it was James Vane. Flat out. C4, Lord Henry's house.
There is no use your telling me that you are going to be good. You are quite perfect. Pray, don't change.
No, Harry. I've done too many dreadful things in my life. I want to be better. I am going to be better. Don't let us talk about it anymore. Tell me something about yourself. What's going on in town?
The people are still discussing poor Basil's disappearance.
I should have thought they had got tired of this by time.
My dear boy, they have only been talking about it for 6 weeks, and the British public are really not equal to the mental strain of having more than one topic every 3 months. It's an odd thing, but everyone who disappears is said to be seen at San Francisco. It must be a delightful city. It possesses all the attractions of the next world.
What do you think has happened to Basil?
I have not the slightest idea.
Did it ever occur to you that Basil was murdered?
Why should he have been murdered? He was not clever enough to have enemies.
I was very fond of Basil. But don't people say that he was murdered?
Oh, some of the papers do. It does seem to me to be not at all probable. I know there are dreadful places in Paris, but Basil was not the sort of man to have gone to them. He had no curiosity. It was his chief defect.
What would you say if I told you that I murdered Basil?
I would say that you are posing for a character that doesn't suit you. Crime belongs exclusively to the lower orders. I don't blame them in the smallest degree. I should fancy that crime was to them what art is to us, simply a method of procuring extraordinary sensations.
Do you think, then, that a man who has committed a murder could possibly do the same crime again?
Anything becomes a pleasure if one does it too often. That is one of the most important secrets of life. I should fancy, however, that murder is always a mistake. One should never do anything that one cannot talk about after dinner. But let us pass from poor Basil. I wish I could believe that he had done something such a really romantic end as you suggest, but I can't. I dare say he fell into the Siena off an omnibus, and that the conductor hushed up the scandal. By the way, Dorian, what does it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose, how does the quotation run, his own soul?
Why do you ask me that?
My dear fellow, I asked you because I thought you might be able to give me an answer. That is all. I was going through the park last Sunday, and close by the Marble Arch there stood a little crowd of shabby-looking people listening to some vulgar street preacher. As I passed by, I heard the man yelling out the question to his audience. It struck me as being rather dramatic. It was really very good in its way, quite a suggestion. I thought of telling the prophet that art had a soul, but that man had not. I was afraid, however, he would not have understood me.
The soul is a terrible reality. It can be bought and sold and bartered away. It can be poisoned or made perfect. There is a soul in each one of us. I know it.
Do you feel quite sure of that, Dorian?
Quite sure. It is because I am going to be good. I am a little changed already.
Fade out on Lord Henry in a spot of Dorian.
When I say that I'll be good, why doesn't he believe me? All he does is laugh and think I am still naive. Henry has the luxury of not feeling what I'm going through. He sat on the sidelines while I've done the things he said he'll do. I hurt myself into sensual ease. I yearn for passions both pure and debased. But somehow I ceased to be lord of myself. I was no longer the captain of my soul. I ended in frightful disgrace. I want a new life. I'm going to turn my life around. Everyone will see the change in me. I want a new start. I'll make things right again. From now on, I know that I'm gonna change. Is it true that if one tries, one can never change? Are my sins irredeemable? Is there no hope for me? I don't regret a single moment of having mutual pleasure. But now that I have seen my soul, I must learn humility. I threw my pearl of my soul into wine. I grew careless of the lives of others. To continue this life, I know that when I'm wrong, my act of kindness would be my absolver. The portrait will no longer be my accuser. I want a new life. I'm going to turn my life around. Surely it has already begun. I want a new start. I want to start over. From now on, I swear that I'm gonna change. I will no longer think on my
He takes the lamp from the table and goes upstairs. Unlocks the curtain ring, and drags the purple hanging from the portrait. He is stunned by what he sees.
No change. Safe in the eyes, a look of cunning, and in the mouth, the carved wrinkle of the hypocrite. It's more lonesome than before. Was it vanity that made me say that I would change? Or the desire for a new sensation? Or the passion to act a part that sometimes makes us do things finer than ourselves? Or perhaps all of these? And why is the blood on my feet? Does this mean I have to confess, to give myself up and be put to death? No, I will never confess. If I did, no one would believe me. They could not conceive how I live a life full of hypocrisy and vanity. God's the only one who knows my sin, but even He cannot make me whole. I'll not be burned by the past anymore. I must destroy this mirror of my soul. Destroy the mirror of my soul.
He stabs the picture in its heart. He lets out a loud cry and crashes to the floor dead. Fade out from upstairs and fade in the downstairs with the frightened servants creep out of their rooms. The valet hurriedly rushes out to get Lord Henry. The servants whisper to each other. Lord Henry, valet, and constable enter and rush upstairs.
Dorian, are you in there? Dorian, are you all right? Dorian, answer me! Are you sure your master is in there?
Yes, sir. He let out a horrible scream and we feared the worst.
Break down the door, constable.
He tries a few times and finally breaks down the door. What they see astonishes them. They find hanging on the wall the splendid portrait of Dorian as they had last seen him. Lying on the floor is a dead man, an evening dress with a white knife in his heart. He's withered, wrinkled, and loathsome of visage. Lord Henry realizes who he is, seeing him on the floor.
God forgive me. What have I done?
The servants slowly start to ascend the stairs to see what's going on. The constable moves closer to the body. Curtain closes. The end.
Questions and answers. Anyone? Critiques? Good or bad? We take them all. Nothing? Oh, yes, Jenny.
Steve, how long have you been working on this?
This was the longest one I actually wrote. This one took me a year.
You've written others then.
Over 30.
Oh my gosh.
Usually they take, like, my Christmas Carol took me 9 days. The one I wrote for Russ, the one for 11. But the one I wrote for Russ took me 2 months. I mean, unless I get an idea and I get inspired by something, I just, whatever. I'll tell you, lyrics, I have a love-hate relationship with the lyrics. I hate doing it, but it's fun. The music's the easy part. God puts them in me, I'm just the secretary.
Yes, back there?
I have a question. I noticed there's a lot of solos for Dorian Gray. Are you planning on adding more any choral numbers?
We had a lot of them, but for time's sake and actually to move the story, believe it or not, they weren't used. They weren't needed because it was really centralized on these guys.
Great.
if you're workshopping, there's going to be a lot of edits as we go through, and we'll probably be putting back songs and re-editing and doing it again. When we take it to New York, it's going to be a whole new picture again when we do this. Derek.
Well, now that you kind of put it to real life, you know, and heard it go through and presented it, what are some of the changes that you feel are necessary, or like the top things now that it's been, you know, worked through in the workshop?
Well, actually, I saw a few places where I could actually put some more incidental music that I like, but I really have to, in my thing, I have to see it staged. And plus, you know, right now my vantage point is not really a good one because I'm not out there. I'm over here. I'm still playing, so I still kind of, you know, I need the audience perspective. I
can tell you, working on the edit on this book, there's a lot more work that needs to be done on the book. There needs to be more work on the dialogue. And that's something that, you know, Stephen and I will get through and we'll work on as we go through this. Anybody else? Yeah.
Did you write the narrative text that Russell was reading as well as the music and lyrics, or did both of you write that?
No, actually, the narrative was from the book.
Oh, okay.
Why should I touch stuff that's been working for at least over 100 years?
Right.
But that's an interesting point.
I mean,
because I think
after
when I was doing it up there and I was listening to the dialogue happen, I started to realize there needs to be a narrator through this show.
Right.
Of some sort, whether it be via music or via dialogue. And that's one of the things that I've written myself a note as, is that's something that we need to weave into the storyline.
Right.
Because it can't be told any other way.
Sure, yeah. Your melodies are amazing. It's the first time I've ever heard you.
What are you planning for full orchestration as far as other instruments? Because I could kind of hear some difference.
I already orchestrated it for 40 people. All guns.
I'm a producer's and it's not
No, I know. But see, I was always told that you put what I want into it. And then when a real orchestrator does it, they'll be able to condense and actually put what I want into the orchestration to make it actually more condensed and put what I want into it in the more simplified. So I think big. Christine, you know that. I don't do anything fast.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
But you would hand it over to a separate orchestrator and arrange it.
Correct.
Exactly, because that's not, I mean, it's not my job.
Right.
I mean, really, it's like when you have the New York stuff, Russell will know, there's the composer, there's the lyricist, the producer, and then there's the orchestrator.
Right.
That's not me.
Right.
I mean, I love doing it. It's actually a lot of fun, but I know there's no way they're going to, like, today's economy, ain't doing 40 pieces.
Yeah.
Yes.
I felt as though, one observation and two questions. I felt as though it would have been more effective if there was a narrator up here, off to the side. Maybe not with the group, but off to the side. It would have been a little bit more engaging as far as the development of that aspect was concerned. My second question to you, Stephen, was, in the back of your mind as you were writing this, were you inspired by any Broadway show or previous work? It reminded me a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde.
It has that flavor.
Very much so.
Well, Father, it's like I told you. He puts it in here. I just write it down. Really. I mean, I don't... My inspiration just comes from either people or friends who just act like, say, a couple of things. They may say a couple of words and go, oh, that would kind of put in there. I'll tell you, that's... You know with the cell phone. 3 o'clock in the morning I get some of these things, and here I am on the highway, so I'm singing in the dang phone with these old melodies and stuff. So I can't say that I'm inspired by really, I just do it.
You know,
it did have a little bit of
it
that,
does.
And it reminded me, I love the music of that.
Well, you know what, I also feel that, you know, this has a genre of, like, the musical version of Jane Eyre. That,
it's French, it's got
it's got that type of that classical feel to it, and, you know, The Lady in White, which our Angela Weber wrote, I mean, it's got that sort of a flavor as well. And I think this is something that's coming into play right now, and these are good stories now to be brought back onto the stage, because they're always looking for something like this. And I think that's what the appeal will be, hopefully, in New York when they see something like this workshop.
My third question is, since I believe now that you're on the cusp of something bigger, could you grant me an autograph?
We'll see about that when I go to church tomorrow.
questions? Well, we thank you so much. Tomorrow is our last part of our festival, and it will be a play called Bull by a South County independent critic, Doug Norris, and that will be presented at 1 o'clock here. And then we'll be seeing another festival, hopefully this fall. I've been getting a lot of people from Providence that would like to see some of their plays brought out here. So we're going to see some more of this happening. These festivals seem to be really going well for us. And that's it. Thank you so much for participating in this evening's performance.